evening to you, the people of the tube. For today I'm going around on your world. You people have spoken, and I bring it to you now. My favourite distortion pedal ever made, the Marshall Guv'nor 2 Plus. Let me show you a closer view, and then we'll get to making some more gorgeous noises, as this thing makes me extremely happy. Okie dokie people, here it is, the Marshall Guv'nor 2 Plus. This is like my distortion box heaven. I absolutely adore this pedal, and I'm going to show you some of the settings I really like today and show you all the dials and what it does. But for some reason I decorate all my Guv'nors with Sharpie pens, so I do apologise about the crap artwork. But anyway, moving on to the dials, what have we got? Left side we have a gain dial, that's there. No, it's not over, it's over here somewhere actually. That's the gain dial there. It's invisible and you can't actually see it. But anyway, moving back to the pedal. Yeah, it's got a gain dial here, obviously, you know, self-explanatory. Next one along, we got dual concentric dials here. So the top one does one thing, the bottom one does another. And we've got a bass and a deep, and the deep dial I always have on full whack, but I will show you the bass as well. But the deep that's the thing that sells this pedal to me more than any other distortion pedal I've ever played, is that deep dial there. Then you've got treble and mid, and then you've got volume. And I'm going to leave the volume at 11 o'clock for the whole vid, as that's where I'm using the CR120, and it seems to be really kind of unity with the clean channel there. So anything louder than that, it just kind of like, you know, it's just too loud, so to say. So without further ado, let's get into more sounds with the Guv'nor 2 Plus. I do that way too much. Okay, so let me show you the bypass signal first. This is just into a clean channel of the CL120. I just need to turn the reverb back down. I'm going to have reverb on 2 today, so a little bit of reverb, not massive loads. But all the EQs are not at noon. Anyway, yeah, clean channel CL120. I've got it started with trebles on 0, bass is on 2, and I've got volume all the way up on 10. So it just gives me a really nice kind of like flat response to run the Guv'nor over the top, which it likes more. So that's just the CL120, so that's just the clean channel. I'll show you through the dirty channel as well as an overdrive, because it works really nicely as that as well. But so that's just the clean channel of the CL120. I'm going to start by showing you all the EQ section. So the bass, the deep, and the treble and the mid. I'm going to show you that first, and then we'll get into kind of like showing you how much kind of gain it has in it, and all different kind of like sounds we can get out of it. So this point in time, the sound I've got is what you heard at the beginning, that kind of blues. It's kind of like a real kind of fat, just a bit more of a kind of an overdriven kind of pushed amp kind of sound. So this is just the CL120 sound clean. Adding the Guv'nor. That's just, yes, that's the wicked sound. So the setting for that was gain is at half. You probably saw it actually in the close-up, but gain's at half, bass is all the way down, deep is all the way up. So the bass is all the way off, deep is all the way up, treble is all the way up, and mids are at half. And I say the volume's at 11 o'clock, and it does sound really. You always kind of get away with. Vaughan kind of snaps, so to say. So that's that setting, and it's just filth. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn the deep dial down, so it's on full whack at this point in time. So you got a real fat, kind of tight low end sound to it. So what I'm going to turn it down to a quarter. This isn't 100% noticeable. It's a little bit less kind of fat in comparison to. And back to a quarter. You can hear there's a little bit of kind of like bass kind of drop off there. So turning it down now to a half, you're going to hear it's going to get a lot thinner, especially with my palm mute. So you can hear it's getting, it's taking that bass end out. This is now deep down to a quarter. That sounds weird. It's still a cool sound. I mean, it's got no real kind of like fatness or low end really. It's quite thin, but it's still got a really cool, kind of sound to it. And this is deep now all the way off, so this is kind of like on 0. I don't know if it's possible to get a bad sound out of this pedal, I really don't. Okay, so I'm going to turn up the bass now, and the bass, in comparison to the deep, is totally different. The deep tightens it up, whereas the bass dial, I never really use the bass dial, because it tends to kind of like, it kind of gets a bit kind of like, flubby, and a bit kind of like, kind of sound, instead of kind of like tightening it up like the deep does. It just kind of like tends to get a bit, bit too flubby on the thingy. So this is bass at a quarter. So again, just to quickly show you, this is on nothing. Bass on a quarter. Just adding a little bit of low end. So bass now on half. Let me show you again. So this is bass all the way off. And bass on a half. And I wouldn't really go any further than that. I mean, I will show you it, but this is where it starts to get kind of like, fat and a bit unruly. And not particularly... It's usable, but it's a bit too kind of low-endy. So this is bass now not all the way up, sorry. This is bass on 3/4. You kind of hear it's really thumpy. Things rattle, and this is bass all the way up on tone. Especially if you palm mute. Kind of like, it's really fat, but it's not like the deep. So for instance, like, this is bass all the way up. Now if I turn bass all the way off and turn the deep all the way up, you can hear the difference. The deep dial just tightens things up and just makes things just sound a bit more together. To the bass dial, so that's the deep dial, and I say like it just tightens everything up on the sound. This is the bass all the way up. And you say it just gets a little bit too muddy. So anything over half on the bass is a little bit too much, but you don't really need to use the bass dial because the deep does the bass perfectly. So, and it does. Okay, so moving now on to the mid and treble dial. So what I'm going to do basically on the deep and the bass, I'm going to leave the bass all the way off and the deep all the way up, basically for the entire video. But I will show you how the bass responds to full out distortion when I crank the gain up, when I show you how much kind of gains in the pedal. So, I'll start with treble. At this point in time, treble's on full whack, so it kind of gives you a real nice... This is one of those rare pedals that I can use, or anything in general, I'm happy to use with treble dial on. I normally don't use treble at all. It's normally off. I hate it. I can't stand it. But on the Guv'nor, it's one of those pedals where I don't mind actually having it on, and I don't mind having it full whack. I don't know why. It's just something about the EQ, the way the treble's EQ'd. It's just not as intrusive as treble normally is to me. Okay, so that's treble on full whack. So, and that's just wicked. That is just, it's very Richie Blackmore-y. It's very kind of like, that kind of sound. So now turn the treble down to a quarter, sorry, 3/4. It's a little bit noticeable, it's a little bit darker. Full whack, 3/4. You can kind of hear it brighten up. If I turn it from 3/4 to 4, you can kind of hear there's this tiny little bit of brightness added. Very, very slight, but it is there. Okay, so moving the treble down now to half. So this is treble on a half. It's almost Paul Kossoff-y. Breathe. Okay, so that's treble on a half. Treble down now to a quarter. And they said 3/4 there. Even darker still. It's gonna be. So, again, darker still, and then treble all the way off. Really fat and kind of almost washed out. Yeah, but still, it's still got kind of a brightness and the clarity is still there, even though it's kind of really kind of flubby and kind of fat. But it's really fat. That is really fat, but I love it nonetheless. Okay, so let's put the treble back to half, and I'll show you the mids. So at this point in time, mids are at a half. So we got that sound right now. So now if I lower the mids to a quarter, this is what we get. There's still a little bit of mids there, but you can hear it's a lot more scooped than it was. If I'll show you quickly, so this is back to half, mids at half, and then scoop them out, put it to a quarter. You can hear they're kind of going, and then if I turn mids all the way out, yeah, it's kind of not very scooped, but the mids aren't really as prominent anymore. It's still an A sound though. I don't know what that was. Ignore that. It's just weird. I'm just getting happy. But yeah, okay, so mids now to 3/4. That is just that's mid-range I love. Okay, and full up mids. That's mid-range I love. That's the mid-range that new Marshall amps don't seem to have, or to me anyway. I'm probably talking well out of turn there, but they don't seem to have that kind of mid-range new Marshall amps, and that really gets my goat, so to say. But okay, so that's the bass and the deep. That's the mid and the treble. Say, just to let you know, the volume-wise, listen to how loud this pedal goes. So this is volume on 11 o'clock. So if I crank the volume, this is full whack. That's loud. Okay, so we'll pull that back down to 11, I think, which is kind of a unity with the volume I've got. Maybe a little bit louder, but you always want distortion, a smidgen louder than your clean signal anyway. So, oh, it's just heavenly. So I'm going to move on to the gain dial now and show you some kind of different settings with the gain dial. I love this pedal! Okie dokie, I have an itchy head. Okay, so gain at this point in time is at a half. I've got bass on 0, deep is on full, treble and mid are both at halfway, and volume is 11 o'clock. So if I turn the gain now, if it's all the way down, it's nothing really. You know, it's not there. But if I turn the gain up to a quarter, you get a real nice kind of clean boost. If I turn the treble all the way back up again. It's a really, you know, it's not too far off just the orange on its own. This is just the orange on its own. But it's just a little bit fatter. Yeah, you can just hear it just fattens up a bit. And people have asked me actually, is the Guv'nor any good for the Job Shanty overdrive? Not really. It's more of just a flat out distortion pedal because the mid-range in it is so prominent. It kind of, you don't get that kind of, it just doesn't kind of give you the right kind of tone for John. It's not far off though, his, Blood Sugar Sex Magic era kind of tone, where he was being hard work, so to say. It's not far off that. And he was using JSM 800s back then anyway, so, and that's kind of what this pedal is based on. It's based on kind of like the drive circuit of a JSM 800, so you can kind of you can kind of get that kind of sound, but it's not really the John sound we all know and love. It's, you can hear it's just a little bit too honky, a little bit too mid-rangey. So really, this isn't the best pedal for that John sound. This is a great pedal for kind of like, you know, bluesy kind of rock stuff, or full out kind of rock stuff and stuff like that, which we'll get to in a minute. Okay, so back to the gain dial. So that's on a quarter. Where I had it was a half, which is really nice for those kind of, you know, really cool blues. You know, for those kind of bluesy kind of things, it's really nice. So turn the gain up now to 3/4. It's where the pedal really starts to kind of break up, you know, and you can hear how differently the tone changed. So from it being a half, when you turn it up, the gain up, you get a lot more brightness. It's getting a lot more shrill. So I'm going to cut down the treble. So the treble's now down at half. You can kind of hear it's really fat. It's just a big fat sound, and then gain all the way up is just the special part. Like I say, it does reach a lot more. Maybe less treble there. So this is treble down now to 1/4, and it's going to get fat. Treble all the way down. Filthy, filthy, filthy sound. I just absolutely adore this pedal. It really is my favourite distortion pedal I've ever played through. It loves other pedals as well. Like, if you combine it, I used to combine it with a Tube Screamer, combine it with the Blues Breaker pedal, which I want to demo, the Marshall Blues Breaker. But it loves the DS2, the Jackhammer, the Golden Plexi. Everything I've put this pedal like in the chain with, it's happy. It's always happy, and this is one of those pedals that no matter what amp I get, be it like, you know, Fender, Marshall, an Orange, Mesa Boogie, whatever, this pedal, no matter what amp I get, I know exactly this pedal will always give me what I want tonally. It's just one of those freaky things. And when I first plugged into a Guv'nor, it was just like, that's just insane. I bought it on the spot then and there. I'd never tried it before, and I was using my Zoom pedal for distortion, But I wanted to change. I wanted something a bit different. I wanted something a bit more kind of a bit more cutting, because the Zoom pedal's distortion's really nice, but it was very fat, and it didn't really have a lot of cut. You really had to kind of boost it to kind of like get it to stick out in a mix, especially live. It was kind of like, you know, it wouldn't disappear, but it wouldn't be as prominent if you didn't have your levels right. So I wanted something with a little bit more cut, and as soon as I plugged into this thing, I was just like, I'm sold. The sound of it is just unreal. I put the treble back to a quarter. And I just turned the gain up, and I've had the same setting. My setting for my pedal board is this. It's a bit... weird actually, because I've got to alter it slightly because the amp's a little bit different. There it is. And so that's the sound I have, and what I normally do is roll the volume down to 8 for rhythm parts, and you get this really fat palm mute sound. Kung Fu fighting, I don't know what that was. It turned into Bruce Lee then. I got possessed by Bruce Lee. Can I do a 1-inch punch? No, I can't. Anyway, so yeah, that's just like, that's me sorted. I'm in heaven with that sound. It just... Okay, I'm going to show you this pedal with an amps overdrive channel now. Okay, I'm going to quickly show you through the dirty channel of the CL120. I'm going to switch to a humbucker guitar that you hear with humbuckers on the kind of like the clean setting, the kind of the blues setting, and the full out kind of rock setting. But yeah, this is just the CL120's dirty channel as is. I've got volume on 10, treble, middle and bass are all on 0, and I've got the gain at 7. So just a big, fat, lovely sound. But adding the Guv'nor makes it even fatter and lovelier. To let you know the setting, I've got gain all the way up. Deep is all the way up, bass is all the way off. I might increase the treble, I'm not sure yet. But at this point in time, treble's at a quarter, mids are at half, and volume is still at 11 o'clock. So adding that. Treble up to half. Anyway, that's what it sounds like through a dirty channel. Actually, quick if I lower the gain. So it's just a little bit more clean on the Guv'nor. Treble up 4. Switching to a Les Paul. Okay, so I thought I'd give the lemon drop a break today. I thought I'd use my Epiphone Les Paul for a change. So, just clean channel the CL120 on its own. I ain't changed the EQ. It's still treble on 0, bass on 2, and volume all the way up. Little bit of break up there. Adding the Guv'nor now. I've got it back to the kind of the blues setting I had earlier on at the beginning of the video. So gain is at half, deep is all the way up, bass is all the way off, treble is all the way up, mids are on a half, and volume is at 11 o'clock. And it's just glorious. voice. I mean, it's not really, but it reminds me of that ZZ Top's first album sound. Maybe a bit less gain. Let's turn the gain down to about 10 o'clock. It just has that Marshall, but it just got that sound. It's just... You didn't want to see that, trust me. Okay, so gain now down. Gain now down to a quarter. We can probably crank the mids on this one, so this is treble and mids crank. Doesn't sound like out of phase. Weird, really quacky. Does the British glue? I don't know what this pedal doesn't do. I really don't. I'm probably getting really carried away. Okay, so this video has probably already gone on way longer than it should have done. So flat out gain now. Whee. Okay, this is with gain full up. I've got, I say, bass is all the way off, deep is all the way up. Treble and mids are both at 12 o'clock. a few mistakes. Very sloppy, but I'm going to call it a day there. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's been mega long. Congratulations if you made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed it though. I certainly have. I just love this pedal. It just does everything. It really, I mean, this probably sounds really silly. I think it's a really bold statement, that is, Dave. But for me, it really does. There's a lot of distortion things in here. Yeah, it doesn't do the John Frusciante thing, but you know, you kind of. Do the ready-made thing. Does the ready-made kind of Les Paul John tone. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you, Marshall, for creating the ultimate distortion pedal. It's just heaven. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you again very soon on Monday. I've got a really interesting video planned for Monday, but I'll talk about that on Monday. So yeah, have a great weekend. Have a great one, and I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye now.